Hi, and welcome to Online Appliance Tech. Today we're going to work on the side-by-side refrigerator LG model number that starts with LHSXS2706S. If this is your model, this video is for you. So the problem we was having with this refrigerator, this ice was sticking together and we could not even remove this bin because it was kind of stuck in there due to the ice sticking together. So usually when this happens, is either the ice maker is dripping in if it has a leak, but in this case it was actually the flap allowing heat to rise up into this ice bin, which would cause the ice to stick together, and as you can see here, it's stuck together there. So we had to steam this out. If you don't have a steamer, you just have to open the door and unplug it for 2 days. So right here we're going to do a test. Have a towel to make sure you unplug it, and we're going to pour a little bit of water down the middle or in the door funnel here, and then we'll look in the front of the door and see if we see any type of water that drips through this funnel. It should hold the water, but if it doesn't, that's going to be your problem. So we'll shut the door here, and as you can see my flashlight, sorry it's a little bright, but you can see the water is starting to drip down. So this is definitely your problem, which is allowing the heat to rise up to the ice bin itself. So now we're going to unplug it and remove the display panel. So my 2 fingers there will press in, and then I'll take my 2 thumbs and press them against the door itself. So as I press in and I pry it against the door, it should pop right out. There we go. So yeah, it's just clipped in there. So at this point we'll just slide it right out, and then we'll have to disconnect the harness. Okay, so now we have 2 Phillips screws that we'll have to remove the funnel assembly. Once removed, we'll just pull the assembly straight out, and then we'll have to disconnect the water tube itself by this clip. This clip I tried to remove with my fingers, but I had a hard time grabbing it, so I basically, here soon you'll see I'll use my flathead, and that way I can just pry it out. There we go, much easier. So once you get that removed, just put it somewhere safe. You will have to put it back, and then you'll have to press this in and press the tube in and pull it out. So press down and pull, push in and out, and it'll pop right off, and just disconnect this coax. So this is the flap we're going to have to replace. So we will have to remove the auger motor on its left, and we'll have to disconnect the harness that connects to the door itself, that connects to the flap, which is here. So here is the part assembly. I will see if I can find a link to leave in the description below. If you cannot find it there, you can also go to LG parts and find it there. So since we have the new one ready to go, let's remove the old one. You have 2 Phillips screws that holds the left door flap into the door itself. So just remove them. If you do have a magnetic Phillips or drill, if not, just make sure you hold it with your hand as you remove it. Very tiny, you can easily lose them. So it looks like it's some type of bar that goes against the door flap itself. And you will have to remove this door flap out. So we'll put that down somewhere safe. So you have to move it out towards its left, but you cannot do that until you remove the auger motor. So here you have 2 Phillips screws that you have to remove. So I had trouble getting into this, so I would disconnect the harness first. This way you can get your Phillips in there to remove the 2 Phillips screws. And we're not going to forget to disconnect the harness that connects to the door flap, and then might have to dig for it a little bit, but it's right here. Just make sure you disconnect that. It's just a little clip you press in and pull out. So I had trouble removing this harness from the auger motor itself. So what I did, I pressed it down and I wedged my flathead in between as I pressed the clip down, and it came right out. So you might want to try that if you have any issues. And then you can get to the Phillips screw on the left, and there's one on the upper right, and everything should just fall, but be ready for it. Just don't let it drop like it does on me, as you'll see here in a moment. So this is your auger motor. It opens up the flap and closes it. So say if your door has no pressure, it's just not opening and closing, this could be your problem, or it could be the display control board not sending power to it. So you would have to be, or do a little bit more of a thorough check if that was your issue. But back to topic. This is the old one. As you can see, it's kind of worn down and not sealing well. So you will have to remove all the parts from the old one and put on the new one. So you have two little clips here you'll just pull out of the old door flap. And then you have two clips, as you can see here, it's clipped in. I tried to pull this out, but I was afraid of breaking the arm itself, and then I've got to order the arm. So what I did, I just used my needle nose and just broke the edges so I can slide it off and just pop it on the new one. And I felt like that was the safest way, so which you'll see here in a moment. So install the new one, you'll underhook the lower hook, it's a little hook or clip I guess you would call it, and then put these back where they go. So if they fall off, just look at the other one to compare it. There we go. So you'll underhook the bottom clip, and then you'll just press it straight down, and that way it'll just clip right in. So you shouldn't have to worry about breaking that, it should just clip in. It's a lot easier to install than to remove. So one thing I do recommend, since you're having it completely apart, is to wipe the edges down where the seal will hit against the housing of the door. This way you have no type of gaps due to debris and so forth. So this is a great time to make sure it's nice and clean. So when installing this new flap assembly, at the top you have two lines. So you have to bend the metal springs back, and they have to be pressed up against the upper housing of the inner display. As you can see there, hopefully you can see that. So see how they're pressed up in the line? So you have to have it just like that. That way it has pressure to hold against the door itself. So once you have it in this spot, you'll have to hold it with your hand as you have everything, I guess, you know, have everything ready to go to mount it. So as you can see, I wasn't prepared myself, but I was able to hold it with my hand as I got everything. And it's definitely good to have a magnetic bit. So I'll just take this plate as I hold it, and I'll line the plate up. Then I can take my fingers and hold that as I hold the flap assembly too. At this point, I'm making sure I have the bar that goes across the flap aligned. Then have everything ready. Don't be like me. Magnetic bit is great if you have one, and then you'll just put in the first screw, or Phillips screw. If you have someone to help you, obviously it's way easier too. So now we're going to install the last Phillips screw. I did have to turn my drill down. I had it too fast of a speed. So if you have a hand tool, even better, or just make sure you have a low impact drill that's not going to move super fast. So I think I was calling this the auger motor. It's not the auger motor. It's actually the door flap motor. It opens and closes the door. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, this has to go over the top of this arm itself, the arm that holds the flap. It has to go in that hook. It's like a little curve hook. It has to be on top or above it, I would say. And then once you have it aligned, you'll install the 2 Phillips screws. So now we're going to install the 2 Phillips screws as you hold it in place with your finger, and just use a low impact drill or just a hand tool itself. Okay, so now since that's completed, we're going to reconnect the harness. So take your time with this, or have patience, I would say. It does have to be completely aligned before it clips in. Let's not forget to connect the door flap harness. So let's now connect the funnel assembly. First thing first, we want to connect the water hose to the tubing. So you'll hold it, press in, and try to pull out. It should cover up the first line. And then you'll take your red clip, and this basically just keeps it from popping out under pressure. So definitely make sure you put that back. And then at this point, you'll just reconnect the harness, and we'll slide it right back into place. When installing this, you just want to make sure you have all the wires out of this path. If so, just move them to the side, and then you'll line it up to your funnel assembly with the 2 holes on the rear. And you'll install the your 2 Phillips screws, one on the right, one on the left, just the same way as you removed it. So now we're going to finish by installing the display assembly. So just reconnect your harness, and then just kind of make sure it's tucked back enough, and then you'll just align it, and you'll just press it straight in. Give you a better light. So you have 2 clips at the bottom, as you can see there. They have to be aligned. 1, 2. And then once that's aligned, you'll just press with 2 fingers or your 2 hands and push it in. There you go. So after doing the job, I would like to check to make sure everything's working right. So I'll hit the dispenser and make sure everything opens and closes correctly. And also check the inside to make sure everything looks nice. So I hope this video was helpful, and please like and subscribe for more future tips and videos. Have any questions, just leave in comments below. Thank you.